Hi guys, welcome to our Purpose in Plexus Tuesday night call. We've got a very special guest with us, Dave Walker. He is so awesome, and I'm so excited that he's on for us. So I'm kind of just going to hand it over to him and let him give us his wisdom and share with us.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Do me a favor. One last thing. We just get everybody muted, and then we'll jump right in the deep end. Good evening, everybody. My name's Dave Walker. I'm a corporate business coach, a field development coach at our corporate office. I've been with Plexus now, going on 18 months. I started in February of 2016. I'm originally from Nebraska. I've been out here in the greater Phoenix area. This is my 6th summer. If you live in Phoenix, you judge and base time on how many summers you've lived here. So this is my 6th summer. And the bottom line, I guess, and to be transparent, is that I wanted to play golf on Christmas Day, not scrape ice off my windshield. So I thought Scottsdale, right? So a little bit about my background. I spent 10 years in leadership development and training and management in the hospitality capacity in the restaurants. I would travel the country, open new restaurants, train everybody from the bartender to the GM, and then move on. After 10 years of that, though, I had missed 10 Mother's Days, 10 Father's Days, 10 Christmas Eves, 10 New Year's Eves, 10 Valentine's Days, and 10 of every other holiday that you could think that you'd want to spend with your friends and family, 4th of July, Labor Day. The list goes on and on. So I decided to make a change. For about 3.5 or 4 years, I was a career coach. And I would identify areas of opportunity within a resume or an application or whatever. I would connect with healthcare professionals, help them to come to a conclusion as to which facility they had always dreamed of going to work for. And then I would coach them through their application, resume, interview, follow-up procedure. And when they were ready, I would call the hospital and I would say, "Hi, my name's Dave. I got the perfect person for your job," right? And I would essentially sell Mayo Hospital that individual, hold their hand virtually until they were going to work their first shift there. I was very successful at it. I had a great time. It was fulfilling, but I wanted to be a part of something bigger. So I kind of started my search and in a roundabout way through a mutual connection. I found Plexus. And I've connected with so many different jewels and ambassadors at this point, and so many of them, tell a story about how they had that moment where they were driving home, whether it was from an opportunity meeting or from a convention or whatever, where, they had that moment, that aha moment. And they thought that, and I'll say this with a disclosure, I'm not here to ask you where your faith is or to tell you where it should be. But so many people I've connected with have told me that they had that moment, they pull over to the side of the road and cry out with joy and believe that, that their higher power, their God, had brought Plexus into their lives. So as I visited our building for the first time and got to understand kind of what it was that Plexus did and what it was that I was going to have the opportunity to do within the corporate office, it was one of those moments. It was like, as I was leaving the building, it literally was like, "Oh, this is what you've been doing for the last 15 years. I've been here to prepare you for this." A really exciting, an exciting first initial visit, and that excitement continues to be with me here through today. So again, thank you for setting aside an hour of your time tonight to give me the opportunity to connect with you all. So I hope you have a pen and paper. Those of you that I can't see or can't see a head shake or a thumbs up or whatever, I'm not going to ask anybody to share, any of the things that I'm going to ask you to write down. There are no wrong answers. So don't overthink this, okay? And I promise that it will come full circle, okay? I'm going to touch on 4 or 5 subjects. I told you I'm from Nebraska, so what you're going to get from me tonight is the steak and potatoes, okay? So my first question for you is to ask you, who is your hero? And 2 to 3 characteristics that individual has, right? Who's your hero? And 2 to 3 characteristics that they have. My hero is my mom, mama's boy, guilty as charged. And she is transparent, she's selfless, and she's hilarious. So I ask you that because when I connect with a group like this and I think about the industry that we're in and I go to work in our office, I ask myself, what makes people want to follow a leader? Some reluctantly, some passionately to the end of the earth. What makes people want to follow a leader? Right? I don't know about you guys, but I've definitely had a boss where I thought, if I have to go and work for this guy one more day, right? And I've also had the boss where I thought to myself, if my boss puts in their notice, and comes and tells me, hey, like 2 weeks, I'm done, I'm going to say, okay, well, where are you going? I want to come with you, right? So what's the difference between those two bosses? And the answer is character. And I start there because that's where my first passion for Plexus was. I didn't know what the Slim was, how many hundreds of thousands of people it had impacted, how good the other products were, how ethically they were created, or how, or the size of the hearts of the, ambassadors that I was getting ready to connect with. I didn't know any of that. What I knew was the character of the individuals that ran the show, the Sarah Bjorgards, the Alec Clarks, the Tarl, everybody like on our executive team. So I like to share with people, like from that point of view, from the point of view of working in the corporate office, right? You've all heard we're one Plexus, right? Well, it's one thing in my experience to write down on a piece of paper who you are as a company and hand it out, say, here's who we are. It's another thing to live it. It starts at the top, right? So I share with people most specifically my experience working with Alec Clark because he authentically treats me like his equal. 35 plus years, phenomenally successful individual, president of our company, and will fist bump me in the hallway, compliment me on my tie or bow tie. Matter of fact, I taught him how to tie a bow tie 2 years ago before he went to convention so that he could, wear a self-tie bow tie. We talk about golf. We talk about our kids. He authentically treats me like his equal. And when people, use the phrase, I'd follow that person into the fire, that's who I think about. If he called me right now and said, Dave, I'm going in this building, it's on fire, I got a bag of Slim, I'd say, what's the address? Okay. He treats me like his equal. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for this man. But once I knew that guy was leading the charge, that's where my first passion came from. Second, for me, was the product, right? Most of you, your passion stems from the product or the individual that introduced you to the product. The product was second for me, but almost just as powerful now, 18 months in. So I like to tell my product story. I'll make it brief, but I really enjoy it, if you can't tell. Okay, so I've been on our probiotic, the Mega X and the X Factor, now X Factor Plus, for going on 14 months, okay? So I call these products my 13 servings of fruits and vegetables. Not because that's what they are, but because I understand that I can't eat 13 servings of fruits and vegetables on Saturday and feel better all week. I have to do it every day. I'm taking a consistent, proactive approach to helping me feel the best I ever have, okay? Second for me was the Slim, all right? You are all looking at a true Slim skeptic in recovery, okay? I have been on the Slim, true story, okay? I have been on the Slim now for I lost track at about 150 days. I'm going to say somewhere around, just under 6 months, right? And you might think, wait a second, you've been working at the corporate office for 18 months and you've been on Slim for 5.5, right? So quick story, okay? I'm on the phone with this Sapphire and we're setting a 90-day game plan and we're talking about what we're going to do over the next 90 days to grow by X, Y, Z, how we're going to hold each other accountable, so on and so forth. We do a little role play. And she says, okay, so tell me what products you take on an everyday basis. And I tell her, I take the ProBio 5, the Omega X, and the X Factor. And she's like, stop the role play. You don't drink the Slim? And I thought, should I not have told her that? Should I have fibbed or whatever? But I was like, no, Ollie, I don't drink the Slim. She's like, well, why not? I was like, well, since you're asking, if I lost 10 pounds, I'll blow away in the wind. I'm not up against any medical conditions. I drink a ton of water. I eat super clean, and I'm in the gym 4 times a week. I don't need the product. She said, you have no idea what you're talking about. If you want me to work my 90-day business plan, you're going to drink the Slim for the next 90 days. So it was the easiest commitment I had ever made, right? It was very easy for me to accept the challenge. And it meant to me that our relationship had grown to a point where she was comfortable to challenge me. I was literally put in my position to challenge her, to be a contributing factor to her growth. And here she was challenging me. And so it made my heart grow like, like the Grinch. Like I was really excited because it really meant that our relationship had taken that step, right? And so I paused there just to acknowledge when you feel that that relationship with somebody take that next step, that you do challenge yourself to challenge them, to be a contributing factor to their growth. Because now 6 months later, I feel the best I ever have. I'm not a crunchy label reader. I don't really want to know what's in there. I know that the character behind the people that are making it is good. I know that ethically they're creating it in a positive capacity. And I know that on Friday nights when I'm on the soccer field, I feel 18 again. On Saturdays, I wake up in my 30s, but on Friday nights, I'm 18 again, okay? So I share that with you because I know that today you're going to come in contact with somebody that's going to tell you that they don't need the product. You're going to say, you have no idea what you're talking about. There's a zero risk factor. You have got to give this product 60 days and watch what happens, okay? So that's my product story. I appreciate you guys humoring me, okay? All right, so back to character, okay? I really want to dive into character here for just a few minutes because I believe that it's at the forefront as to why people follow us. I also believe that as we do self-development of any kind, it will open our eyes to areas of opportunity within our business. So when I'm connecting with somebody, I immediately ask them, are you working some kind of self-development? Out of the handful of people that I can kind of see, maybe see your ceiling, love all of you equally. Is there anybody in here reading a John Maxwell? Okay, no wrong answers, okay? It's not a requirement, okay? But I truly, truly believe if you got on Amazon right now, search John Maxwell, closed your eyes and picked a book, it'd be the best $14 you spend this year, okay? So, it has worked wonders for me, not only in a coaching capacity, but for me personally to have time to reflect. So I would highly suggest that, okay? Character, though. Character is more than talk, right? Anyone can say that they have integrity, but action is the true indicator of our character, right? I want you to write that down. Action is the true indicator of our character, right? And then underneath that, I want you to write down 1 or 2 ways that you could let your actions be that of your hero's character. Anybody joined us a couple minutes late? The first question was, who's your hero, and 2 to 3 characteristics that they have, right? Identify your number 1, identify a couple reasons why you admire them. Now we're putting underneath that 2 or 3 ways you could let your actions reflect your hero's character, right? What a cool challenge. How many people are going to come home from their job today and say, somebody at work challenged me to act like my hero? It's a cool challenge, right? I want to make sure that, I let my actions reflect my mother's character. I do it every day, consciously, right? So 1 or 2 ways in the next 7 days, right? It's character that brings lasting success. I don't believe it's the primary contributing factor to get Lori to where she is today, but I do believe that it has helped her to sustain where she is today and to continue to grow. Without character, you cannot, right? True leadership involves others, right? So we've heard it takes a village to raise a child. Look around, ladies and gentlemen, maybe. Most think ladies probably. Look around. We are that village, okay? Lori's an awesome leader. I'm blessed to be in this room with her. What would she be without us? Tarl is an amazing leader. Alec is the president of a phenomenal company. What would they be without us, right? True leadership requires others. So that's why I'm here. Tonight, I want you to write down 2 ways that you can work as a team this week. 2 ways you can work as a team this week. There are no wrong answers. Okay, my favorite example is to have an accountability partner, right? Find an accountability partner, somebody you're comfortable to give constructive criticism to, somebody you're comfortable to receive constructive criticism from, and set an aggressive goal. Maybe it's 600 cold messages in the month of August, 20 a day. And every night at 8 p.m., you're going to text Lori, Lori, did you send your messages? And Lori's going to be like, not yet. And you're going to say, good news, it's 8 p.m. You better get started. right? And she's going to do the same for you, right? That's my favorite way, my favorite example to have an accountability partner. I have one. I mentioned I go to the gym 4 times a week. I pay the silly, stupid money to have the trainer there 2 days out of the week, because if I don't, I won't go. On Wednesday night when I leave, I'll have 82 excuses as to why I don't want to go. The playoffs are on TV. I have a filet marinating in the fridge. I'm tired, whatever. I have 80 happy hour. There's like a list of excuses I have. But because I know that person's there, they're going to hold me accountable, and it's going to cost me money either way, I go to the gym 4 times a week, right? So talent is a gift. Our characters are choice. We get to choose our character every day, right? We can create it every time we make a choice. Cop out or dig out. Bend the truth or stand under the weight of it, right? Next, I want you to write down no less than 4 words, 4, 5, 6 words that you would use to describe your character. It's my favorite question. I want to be honest, because I get to watch you look down, smile. It gives me goosebumps. I don't have to know you all to know that on that list, there's unique and loving, caring, passionate, selfless, powerful, amazing, healthy, confident. The list goes on and on. I know that in this room, those words are on your list. I know that because if you weren't all of those things, you wouldn't be here tonight. You wouldn't have made a commitment to yourself to join a community whose goal is to see just how many people they can help feel the best they ever have. Hi, what do you do? My name's Dave. I partner with a community of people that's second to none and represent a product that could change your life. Would you like to hear more? How powerful of a sentence is that? Okay. Who in here has made their Frank's list that I can see? Have you made your Frank's list? Right? How many of you worked through it more than once? Okay. Tonight I want to put a little spin on your Frank's list, okay? And we're gonna put a couple things to test. We're gonna put Dave to the test here, okay? So tonight I want you to write down a list of 10 characteristics of the people you would consider your dream team. Okay? 10 characteristics of the people that you would consider your dream team, right? Happy, fun, smart, a go-getter, whatever. 10 characteristics, okay? Then I want you to take the names on your Frank's list, and I want you to attach them to the characteristics that they apply to, right? If Dave applies to these 3 characteristics, I want those to be noted on your Frank's list, okay? Because I don't want the phone call out to Dave to be like, Dave, what's up? It's Dave. I got this pink drink. It's probiotic. It's crazy good. You got to meet me tomorrow, Starbucks, noon. Bye. No, right? I want Dave to get an unexpected, authentic compliment from me. I want Dave to hear that because of these characteristics that I admire, I thought of him, and I would love the opportunity to share with him what it is that I'm doing. Okay? Now, if you want to put me to the test before you start calling out, because I promise if you did this tonight and you picked up the phone, the first couple conversations are going to sound like this. Goodbye. Right? And that's okay, right? That's a learning process, right? But I want you to put this to the test so that you can see it work before you take me up on this challenge, okay? So the next time you are in a grocery store or a gas station and the individual has a name tag on, at the end of the transaction, I want you to take your receipt or your change or whatever, and I want you to say, we're going to start using Susie as the example, okay? Thank you so much, Susie. I appreciate you, with eye contact. And watch what happens to Susie's body language. The truth of the matter is that people are rude to Susie for no reason. Their kids are being a brat, they're late, the school's starting in 2 weeks and they're pulling their hair out. People are rude to Susie for no reason. So when Susie receives an unexpected, authentic compliment from you, you're going to see her defense mechanisms drop. You're going to be calling Lori like, Lori, you are not going to believe who I just signed up. The gas station attendant at the Sinclair around the corner from my house, right? So just put me to the test, okay, before you start calling your Frank's list, and just watch what happens to the person's body language, okay? So I say that because, and as a good transition, you know, the beauty of this business is the relationships. I can tell you how amazing our products are, and I believe that I'm confident to say that we all would agree, right? Our products are second to none. Our compensation plan is second to none. I studied 10 or 12 to be best prepared to support the jewels of Plexus. Ours is the best by far. I put it into a category with the products. I don't really care how they get to that number, but they do. It's awesome, okay? So above the incentives, our incentives and promotions team is maybe one of the hardest working teams in our building. They go to work for you all on an everyday basis. I'm so proud to partner with them. The beauty of this business is still the relationships. I want to foster the relationships that we have. I want to grow those relationships, okay? I like to joke with people that had I gotten married 18 months ago versus today, I would have saved myself like $25,000. Because if I got married today, I'd have to have an additional 300 people attend. I can be transparently, I don't know how I could write a wedding list and not invite Lori. Is that, I mean, and she's going to cost me $100 to come to my wedding. So I truly believe that the beauty of this business is the relationships. I want us to foster those relationships, people like people who are working towards a mutual goal, and people who are similar to us, and people who complement us. I want to foster relationships with an unexpected, authentic compliment, and I promise you will see dividends paid at the bottom line from that, okay? So who in here has heard of the power of 3? Okay, all right. We all have, I'm sure, right? This is a business recipe for what we do that I believe is so simple, we overthink it, okay? Now, I want everyone to know that from the comfort and convenience of my living room here tonight, I understand it's easier for me to say go silver every month than it is to go silver every month. But I want that to be the goal. A week from today, we're going to set a new goal. What that tells me is 2 things. A, we have 6.5 days left in July. Do not stop, okay? I'm not saying work 24 hours a day. I'm simply saying do not stop, right? There is time to impact this month, tons of time. But on August 1st, I want you to set a new goal, and it's to go silver. It's to go silver every single month. Does that mean if you go silver and on the 17th, your 4th person's getting ready to join you, you say, hey, call me back on the 1st? No, you go silver again, right? But I say that because I'm connected with, I don't know, maybe 20 diamonds last week. Every single one of them is still working on their goal, which is to go silver here in July. Right? And at the diamond level, that's still the goal on an every single month basis. We cannot stop that recruiting, okay? So that's your goal. That's everyone's goal. If at the end of the month, you got 2, we're not going to talk about the 1 person you didn't get. We're going to celebrate the 2 that you did. If you got 0, we're not going to talk about the 3 that you didn't get. We're going to celebrate all the seeds that you planted throughout that month that we will harvest the next month, okay? So that brings me to a word that is an ugly word that I don't like and I wish wasn't a part of this, but it is. The fact of the matter is it's a part of every single business on the face of this planet. It's attrition. Does everybody in this room know what I mean when I say attrition? Okay, let me just clarify for those of you I can't see shaking your head, okay? Attrition is not somebody who ordered last month and didn't order this month. That's a lack of follow-up. Attrition is somebody who hasn't ordered in 90 days, okay? The truth of the matter is that it doesn't matter what kind of business you have. If you have a taco truck, a doggy daycare, or a Plexus business, not everybody who comes through line is going to come back. It's that simple. And we can't want it for them, right? So what I bring it up just to acknowledge the idea that the leaders that I connect with that are looking attrition in the eyes and giving it a wink and saying, here I come, their business is growing. The ones that are, for lack of better words, crying over spilled milk, not so much. It's easier to give birth than it is to raise the dead. I'm not saying that we stop reaching out to people. I'm simply saying we foster the relationships with the people that aren't quitting, right? If your best friend quits, if your best friend quits your Plexus business, are you guys not going to be friends anymore? No, of course not. Are you going to give her a dirty look when you see her in the grocery store? Yes, of course, right? So I just want to again acknowledge that those that are looking attrition or hurdles in the eye and giving it a wink and saying, here I come, the business is growing. This is just as much a how you think business as it is a what you think business. So I want you to put that smile on and go out and kick tomorrow's, okay? So anybody have a guess? Anybody have a guess as to what the number one contributing factor to attrition is? Lori?
Is it lack of follow-up?
It is lack of follow-up, folks. That was not scripted, I promise. Okay? Lack of follow-up. Okay? There's a reason that there's a saying, the fortune is in the follow-up. And it's pretty straightforward. If you don't follow up, there is no fortune. 80% of sales come in between the 5th and the 12th contact with a prospect. Less than 10% of salespeople follow up more than 3 times. Okay. Oh, if somebody new is joining your team tonight, I want you to say, congratulations, Charlotte. I can't wait to introduce you to the community of people that you just joined. Your welcome pack will be in the mail within the next couple of days. I want to call you in a week once I know you've had the opportunity to review the information in the welcome pack and get started on your product. So that's next Tuesday, the 1st. What would be better for you, 3 o'clock or 7 o'clock? I'm going to give Charlotte 2 choices. That makes it easy for Charlotte to make a decision and to commit verbally to me to a follow-up phone call, right? So I give 2 choices because if I would have said, Charlotte, what day next week is good for me to follow up with you, then me and Charlotte just had a 15-minute conversation about how busy we both are, right? But if I give her 2 choices and Tuesday's not going to work, she's just going to tell me, hey, Tuesday's not going to work. How about Wednesday? And I'm going to say, perfect, 3 or 7. And we're going to come to a conclusion. I'm going to schedule it. I'm looking at a room full of CEOs. CEOs do not miss meetings. Okay, so I want to schedule it and be there. If somebody new on our team joins today, they have earned, they have paid for no less than 4 follow-up phone calls in the next 30 days. Now, this is the red personality in me, full disclosure, okay? And the yellow in me is saying to the red, like, hey, you're taking it easy, right? Because I really think it should be 4 follow-up phone calls, 8 text messages, and a tag and a post 3 times or something. Like, it should be more than that. But I'll let it go with just 4 follow-up phone calls, right? These phone calls should not be intimidating, right? Oftentimes I'm connecting with people. My fear is that they're afraid to follow up because the person might be going through what we might call detox or die-off or whatever, or that the person might have something less than positive to say. But if we don't call them and give them the opportunity to communicate that, you know what's not going to happen 26 days from now? Their order. We have got to follow up, right? So again, the red in me compares the first 30, 60, 90, 120 days of being an ambassador to the first 3, 4, 5 years of a child's brain development. The more we learn as parents how much our children's brains develop during that initial time period in their life, the more organic foods, education, encouragement, and love that we're pouring into our kids' lives. Now, it's not to say that if we pump them full of pixie sticks and let them play in the street, that they can't grow up to be a rocket scientist. That's not the case. They can. And it's the same with an ambassador. Every once in a while, you're going to get an ambassador. They're going to get their welcome pack. Hi-yow. They're just going to hit the ground running. You're not going to have done anything. They're going to have 6 new ambassadors underneath them, and you're going to call them thinking, what are you doing? Teach me what you're doing, right? But I also know that the majority of us, we need that love and encouragement and education, right? This is a perfect opportunity to continue to foster the relationship, right? With the individual, to ask them how they're feeling, to make sure that they know that this isn't about their 5 points. This is about them feeling the best they ever have. Do we want to grow our business? Absolutely, 100%. But we want to support them to feel the best they ever have, right? People do business with people they like, right? So the person that calls them and follows up, and I'll give you an example. I had my car in for service on Saturday, okay? And it was just a routine service, oil change, tire rotation, that stuff, right? He called me on Tuesday and asked me how everything was. He followed up with me for no reason. Not because he was going to make more money, right? But I immediately felt more connected to Scott. I remember Scott's name. I know now Scott's the guy I'm going to talk to in service moving forward, because I know if something hadn't been right, he would have fixed it for me, right? So you know what's across the street from every car dealership on the face of this country? A Walgreens. You know what they sell in Walgreens? I'm not in any way, shape, or form suggesting that what they sell in Walgreens is anywhere good as our product or halfway as good as our product. But I do know if I wanted to drive across the street, I can go get a multivitamin right now, right? So what's going to prevent my team or my future customers or so on and so forth from doing that is our relationship. Is the idea that they're going to know that they're getting a second to none product from an individual who cares about what's best for them. Foster the relationship. Follow up. No less than 4 phone calls during that first 30 days, okay? So, in conclusion, every time I deliver this information, I remind myself that I, as well as the 16 or 20 of you in this room, have the opportunity to change and impact lives. I have a passion and a compassion for people in their health, and it doesn't have an off switch. I'm not suggesting that that's how you act. I'm simply saying that's my MO. I don't have an off switch, right? So I believe that you share that passion, that compassion, and that's why we're here. Unfortunately, our good intentions, they're not enough. Our good intentions will not impact anyone. They require our action. Tonight, I'm asking you to act. Not for the rest of this month, not for the rest of next month, as you make that push to Leaders Retreat so that you can put your toes in the sand with me on the beach and we can build a sandcastle that's second to none. I'm asking you to act for every day that you call yourself an ambassador. Okay? So I like to close with 2 quotes. Both have changed my life. To be honest, the first one I had to deliver like 100 times before I stopped crying. So no tears tonight. Okay? But so the first one is never for the sake of peace and quiet, deny your own experience or convictions. I want to get this into our chat here. Never for the sake of peace and quiet, deny your own experience or convictions. Okay? That's in the chat if anybody missed it. Okay? So quick little story. As I transition into my role, I moved into an open-aired area in our office, right? And in our events team, our incentives and promotions team, our retention team, our education team, our sales team, and a few managers, our vice president, our director of events, Mary Ann, our vice president of ambassador education. We're all in an open-aired area, okay? Now, of course, our vice presidents and directors, they have an office, right? But the door's open, okay? So I say that because I'm in an open-aired area, and if you can't tell, like, I'm loud, okay? I'm like, you're witnessing the equivalency of a Halley's Comet to see me sit still for 30 minutes and talk about Plexus, okay? So when I don't even need a chair at my desk. I'm all over the place. I'm back and forth. My arms are in the air. I'm yelling. I'm screaming. I'm loud, okay? Plain and simple, I'm loud, right? So after about a week, I get my first complaint. A few days later, I get my second complaint. And a few days later, I get a note on my desk when I come back from lunch that says, "Hey, Dave, would you please do us all a favor and sit down and not be so loud?" I thought, I am bothering people at work. That's not what I want to do, right? I don't want to bother people. I'm like hurting productivity at our company. Dang it, darn it. I had the, like you've seen the Home Alone, like when Harry gets smacked in the face and he's like, fragger, 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 right? I had that type of feeling, right? I'm like, ah, right? So here's me for the next 2 days, okay? Right? I'm so self-conscious about it, right? So a couple of my leaders, my vice president and a couple of our leaders come out into our area and they say, hey, have you guys seen Dave? And I'm sitting right there. I mute my phone. I said, hey, I'm right here. What are you talking about? They're like, nope. 2 days now, haven't seen him. Haven't heard him. Is he sick? What's going on? And I said, well, I may or may not have gotten a few complaints about how loud and boisterous I am here in the office. And they stood there quietly for a second and said, Dave, stand up and turn up the volume. They reminded me that my passion, my compassion, my positivity, my excitement was the very reason they had me on their team. And then I was, and shared that quote with me, challenged me to love myself, to love my passion, and to never let this opinion of one person, even a coworker, deter me from being who I was. That's why they brought me on the team, right? So I share that with you guys, and again, it took 100, maybe more times before I could say that without crying, to, because it's changed my life, truly changed my life, and I thought that I, loved myself and loved my passion before, and I was wrong, because I would let the opinion of one other person change me, at least when I was around them. So I share that with you guys because I know that every single person in this room, myself included, is guilty of not talking about Plexus to somebody because they were afraid what that person might think about them. So my challenge is to get out of your own way and not let the opinions of someone else prevent you from giving them the opportunity to feel the best they ever have. Does that seem fair? Okay. The second one is a little more personal, and for those of you that, for those of you that are, I'm Facebook friends with, if you want to test me on this, go and check it out, okay? Because I happen to have the cutest 85-year-old, 72-pound, 4'3" grandmother you've ever seen in your life. Again, if you don't believe me, go to my Facebook, check it out. If we aren't already friends, we should be. Go and check it out, right? But so Grandma came out in February of this year and spent a week with me over my birthday. And I'm so blessed at my age to not only have a grandmother that's healthy enough to travel across the country, but to spend a week with me. I mean, she brought her golf clubs. She hits the ball a mile, okay? She's the real deal, okay? Grandma was the vice president of a bank and was very successful. And she always challenged me, to pray as though everything was up to God and work as though everything was up to me, right? When I sit in a room like this, I see a family. When I think family, I think faith. I can't think one without thinking the other. Again, I'm not here to ask you where yours is or to tell you where mine is. I'm simply telling you what Grandma challenged me to believe, right? So, Grandma challenged me to believe that, I needed to pray as though everything was up to God and work as though everything was up to me. And I joke with people that, because Grandma was the vice president of a bank, she would remind me on a very regular basis that he wasn't going to get up and pay my bills tomorrow, right? That, and that I surely couldn't pay my bills with pats on the back, so that I needed to get up and work my tail off every day. And that's how she got to where she was. And, and so my challenge for you all is to do just that, it's to pray as though everything's up to God and work as though everything's up to you, and I treat every day like it stole something, from me. And every night when I lay my head down, I tell myself I got it back. So I'm asking you to act. I'm excited. Who here is going and has made a commitment to leaders? Lori's going. Anybody else that I wish I could see? Jessica made a commitment. Yeah. Pam, I see that big smile. Did you have your hand up? You're going to leaders? All right. I'm bringing my shovel, okay? So I got a couple shout outs, as I've, connected with Lori a lot of times over the last couple months, Danielle, are you in here? Where's Danielle? No? Danielle, we miss you. I know it's my understanding that you're one heck of a leader, right? Gosh, where are my notes? Charlotte and Lisa, growing out of your shoes. Congratulations. Are you in here? Charlotte, you're in here. I can see you in here, kind of. Hi, Charlotte. Congratulations. Keep doing what you're doing, girl. Dang. Right? Let's see. Some other leadership shout outs, from what I'm understanding, Lori and Jessica, Rachel, Roslyn, keep doing what you're doing. Okay. Your leader admires you for your leadership. I'm sure that she could write a list of reasons that she admires everybody in this room. I'm so happy to have been able to join you all. So I would love to, to wrap up our recording. Good night, everybody. And then I'll stay on, see if you have any questions for me.